Right, latest episode, length does matter. Johnny, how are we doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Bit concerned about the wind, mate. Fucking don't know if my house is going to still be standing in the morning, but we'll see. Other than that, pretty well, mate. Pretty well. How are you?
Aye, good. The response to Colonel's episode coming out the week's been really positive. Obviously, the numbers for that have been quite high. Delighted to be joined by another teammate, although don't get to see him very often these days. But Woody, thanks for joining us, mate. How are you?
Thanks for having us, lads. I am good. Are you?
Good, mate. Good. Just batter on the trampolines and the kids' toys down. You'll be doing the same, are you?
I put all the furniture out the way, and that the other day it ended up 2 gardens along. So I've battened it doing around the corner this time, so nothing gone flying.
Happy days.
I say that, but it's probably half the roof will be off by tomorrow.
Half the what?
The roof.
Oh, roof. Aye, roof. Right, we'll keep it short and sweet, mate. I know you're quite busy prepping for the West Indies and that, so we appreciate your time. So we'll get cracking. Johnny, you want to set us away, mate?
Aye. So last couple of days, been snapped up in the IPL. See?
Aye.
What's it called? The Lucknow Cuddle.
The Lucknow Super Giants.
Right. In terms of that, obviously they're new. How did you find out you were signing for them? Did you watch the auction? Did anyone watch that auction?
I watched it just because I knew there was some interest. Usually I haven't, clocked into it the last few years out like that, but this time I knew that was some interest. I was going to go in. It's a bit of a strange one actually because my son Harry was asleep on the couch, having his midday nap. So me and Sarah watched it on the telly as we were sort of as he was napping, so we had to be dead quiet. And of course, when the price was going up and up, my last starts going wild. But like she's shouting, but like in a whisper, she's like, "Yeah, come on," like shouting like this. And I've left the room because I was like, "It's just too much for me. I need to get out the room." When there was more than one bidder coming in, so I put a dish in the sink, and when I come back, she's going, "Get back here now! Get back here now!" So I got back in the room. I was doing what I was told, sat down in front of the telly and watched the auction. But when the first couple of teams were bidding and obviously it was going up, I was like, wow, this is amazing. But then it sort of plateaued, and you think, oh well, that's it. That's what I'm going to go for. It was a good 440 or something. That's what I'm going to go for. And then another team come in, and it was just like, oh my god, like this is. It feels like something off a computer game. Like I'm playing Football Manager or something. It doesn't feel like it's real.
We're sitting there like, how many teams were in for you? I'll be honest, I didn't watch it.
It was 3 in the end. So Delhi Capitals and Lucknow, and then Mumbai came in, and Lucknow continued bidding. But there was some interest from the Punjab team, and what was the other one? There was one more, Rajasthan, RCB. So it was them two, but they didn't bid, and I didn't expect Delhi Capitals or Mumbai to come in. They were, I was both surprised by them, but a nice surprise. But I knew Lucknow had some interest because that was Andy Flower's team. Obviously, I've worked with Andy before, so I'm pleased that I get to work with him again because I think he's a really good coach.
He was obviously in charge of England when you started playing, is that right?
No, he just finished. He was doing the England Lions, so that's where I first met him. Was with the A side. So I always liked him, to be honest. He was really honest. He's always really honest, good cricket brain, and I think as long as you, he has similar values to me, like in terms of like the way that he likes his cricket being played. He just wants everyone to give 100%, and I think actually a lot of his values run values with the people of the Northeast. He just doesn't want to be easily beaten. He wants everyone to give 100%, never give up, and just be resilient and determined not to just be rolled over, no matter if you've got the best team and the worst team. He just wants you to never give up. So a lot of his values, I think, run true to all of it.
Nice fit then. Will work well.
I think so. I hope so. I mean, it's easy to say now, isn't it? I mean, I'll let you know in a few months' time how we get on.
Is there any other English lads in your team? Sorry, mate.
No, I've been working working on my West Indian accent, but that's I man. It's quite close in it, so I think I'll be all right. There's 3 or 4 West Indians in. 3 or 4 West Indians, South African, and a Aussie and a Sri Lankan. So, good mix.
What, in terms of the expert, obviously you've done the IPL a couple of times. Is it going to be like the bubble crack again? Because I think there's a lot of like talk in there about bubbles and player burnout and all these bubbles and stuff. I know a couple of the lads have just came on from the PSL. How do you normally cope, kind of thing, with the bubbles and stuff? Because I bet you've done it quite a lot, haven't you, over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's tough. Like, don't get us wrong, it is hard. Like, the best thing for coping for me, I mean, probably got 3 or 4 strategies. Like, get amongst the other lads if you're allowed out with each other. So we play cards, or in Australia it was better because we're allowed out and about for food and things like that. If you're in your room, try and get into a series or a film, or I take Mario Kart with us. So sometimes we'll play Mario Kart in the room. That passes the time. I'm always Yoshi. Got to be all-rounder, so Yoshi every time. And I just try and pass the time as best you can. It's hard, especially when your family aren't there. When you're at the cricket grounds and you're training and you're playing and stuff, it's sort of easier. But then when you get back in the room at night, and you're not really getting that chance to switch off. I mean, Australia was better because we could get out and about, but I didn't have my family there, so it was a sort of double-edged sword, really. But like a bubble life in general, like you just get on top of your way and you feel like you're never switching off.
Right.
But hopefully, I'm not sure how the IPL is going to be running stuff, but I'll be prepared as best I can. What I've done is I've not watched many films since I've gotten home, so I've got a backlog for when I get there. So I've got a few in the locker. But
what's number 1 on the list?
You say this, right? I've just done an appearance today in Manchester, and they were saying who would the 3 people be at your dinner party if you could pick everyone on the spot. Of course, you've just got to get this off the reel. So I was like, well, I'd have me mum because she'd make Belton roast potatoes. They're crispy on the outside and soft in the middle. So I had to have me mother. I said Sean Connery because he was an original James Bond. He's a bit suave and a bit different, so I'd have to have him. And finally, because I used to watch a lot of westerns at my granddad's, I'd have to have John Wayne just so I could hear him say it. That'd be the day. So I'll probably watch John Wayne films when I get there.
Christ.
I don't mind. I didn't mind a western, like.
And we were finally just getting Channel 5 in Ashington, so that's why all the classics are coming in.
Mate, just because you mentioned Ashington, one of the questions we got from someone on Twitter. What was it, Johnny? Because you're from Ashington.
Do you prefer the Grand or the Comrades?
They're the 2. Wait, actually, you mentioned Bubbles before, Bean and Bubble. There's a nightclub in Ashington called Bubbles. So when you're on about it there, I thought, I wonder if there's many people listening now about the real Bubbles. But do I prefer the Grand or the Country? Or was it the Comrades? Sorry,
Comrades.
Comrades or the Grand? Well, the Grand's got the history, so I'll go on with the Grand.
There we are. Right.
Mate, sorry, just briefly touched on the Ashes, and you mentioned obviously people of the Northeast always giving 100%, all that kind of stuff. I think the one thing that came out with the Ashes, in your favour, is you've come out of it looking or not looking. Obviously, everyone's sort of been chuffed with how you went in the Ashes, even on the back of a pretty shit to a tough time, heavy defeat. But the fact that you're coming out of it and everyone's kind of like, Woody's been the shining light, epitomises basically English fans, and that is that like obviously must fill you with a bit of pride, even on the back of such a tough tour.
It does. I mean, it's always nice to hear people recognising your effort and stuff. But the 2 things I'd say about it is, like, one, you never, like, trying for England should be like literally a given. Like, you didn't want to be remembered as a good trier. Like, I want to be remembered as a good player. The trying part everybody should try hard when you're playing for England. Do you know what I mean? You should always give 100%. You should always, like, if the captain needs you, you just got to do it. Like, that's the way that I feel I just feel like the values of the Northeast, I feel like that runs true. And we're like, you know, you didn't just get things given to you. You have to work hard. You have to earn it. And that was when I'm struggling, like when it's hot in Australia or when we're getting whacked or anything like that. They're the kind of things that I try and tap into. Like, right, okay, it's not going your way, but think, are you giving it everything you've got? Can you walk off the field and think, you know, I couldn't have given any more. I didn't execute well the day, but you know, everything I had, I put into that performance. And if you're just not good enough, you're just not good enough. But if you should never give anything less than 100%. So it's nice to hear people say that and you know, recognize your effort. But it's quite hard actually when you're getting battered. So you didn't actually see it as, yes, it is nice that, you know, I might have gotten a couple of wickets at the end, but it still didn't help, you know, the feeling at the end of the games where you sat in the dressing room and you're packing your kit and it's deadly silent, and you know, you have that feeling of letting, you know, your friends do, your teammates, your coach, the captain, people back home who you now are staying up watching, or people who've gone to the ground and bought tickets and spent hard-earned money. You know, it is hard to, in that moment, think, oh well, I've done my bit, because you know that you've been absolutely battered. So it left Australia feeling a bit deflated. I think Russia, you know my character better than most. Like, as a kid, I was very up and down. So if I'd had a great day, I was bouncing off the walls. If I had a bad day, you know, I'd be coming home and, you know, burying my head and not wanting to chat to anybody. So
I was just about to say, don't say kick the cat.
no, like that. No, like that. But I feel like I've getting as I've, you know, since I've had a son and grown up a little bit, I've getting a little bit more level. I'm not flatline, but like a little bit more level. So when I was having, like, when I've had a good day for England and stuff, still remember, you know, that it could easily change. So you've got to keep on striving to get better and pushing yourself to improve.
Big series coming up. West Indies, time to, obviously, good opportunity, pretty quick, come around to get back playing Test cricket and win a few games.
Definitely, and if there's ever a chance to watch Cool Runnings before I go anywhere, it's got to be before I go to the West Indies. So
that's one of the all-time, that's an absolute classic. It's one of my favourite.
And I'll be fully sankered by the time I get out of there. So
Cool Runnings always reminds me of Ben Harmison. I think me and Ben watched back in the day on the academy, and it just always reminds me of him for some reason. He wants to be the driver.
I just would have said Ben would be a bit of the driver, wouldn't he? I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good tour. We've got a bit of a change, obviously, with a few personnel different, and I think, you know, it's an opportunity to try and, you know, win a couple of games out there. We haven't won very many times in the West Indies, so it'll be tough, but a chance to, you know, I guess have a look at different players.
Right. And I think, yeah, and I think you're obviously talking about the change of personnel. It's obviously been pretty big news over the last couple of weeks since the squad's been announced. I think it's probably the first time in about 13, 14 years either Jimmy or Stuart Broad are not going to be there. How's it going to feel, like, in and around, particularly within the bowling group, that actually, for the first time ever, like, neither of them are going to be there on the tour?
Well, to be honest with you, I was proper shocked when it came out. Like, I didn't expect it. I remember ringing the physio, and I was just all I could say to him was, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked, but I think I guess it's an opportunity for the likes of, like, Woksy to lead the attack like he has done in the one Diaz. It gives him a chance to, you know, to open the bowling, and I guess it puts, you know, extra pressure on me. I think from like a Rushy point of view, if you think of like Durham and stuff, like, you couldn't imagine Rushy not being in the team. It's almost the same sort of, like, I couldn't imagine them not being there. It's almost weird. Like, every time I've been involved in test matches, at least one of them's been there. Like, they're nearly always both there, but like, if someone's injured, at least the other one's always there. And it seems mad that, you know, they're just not going to be on tour. I'm sure the type of lads they are that, like, you know, if I'm struggling or I need a bit of advice, I can text them. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help. So a big shock, but I suppose, you know, we have to roll that decision and a chance for others to step up. Never going to be like a Jimmy and Brody, and you know, I'm sure that whoever players will be compared to them because that's the nature of the beast in the media and stuff, isn't it? But like, I think we've got to remember what's important is like we're not going to be like Jimmy and Brody. Like they're so good and they've been so good for so long. Like we have to like remember our own strengths and try and, you know, bowl our own way. Otherwise, we'll put too much pressure on ourselves trying to be perfect like Jimmy and Brody have been for a number of years.
I think you almost, you know, it's a bit like, remember, you know, every all-rounder that's ever been since Botham, everyone was always looking for the next Ian Botham. You don't want to get sucked into the mold of we need to find the next Jimmy Anderson, because let's be honest, like, will there ever be another Jimmy Anderson? Probably not.
No, exactly
when
right.
will he stop? When will he stop? That's the thing. He's still as fit as a fiddle, isn't he?
I still think they'll play in the summer. I think maybe this is just with the no coach and you know, a different director of cricket. Maybe they're just looking at a couple of new faces, see what it's like. But you know, they're still in great form, and I'm sure they'll be back in the summer. Jimmy's, like you just mentioned, there, is still as fit as ever. So I think I definitely think they'll be back. I think this summer I will be very well. I'm surprised already of what's happened, but I'll be very, very shocked if they're not in the cycle in the summer.
Do you see this as a chance to kind of step up and have a bit more seniority? Obviously, you've played quite a few tests now. You've been in amongst the squad for a while. You know, obviously, Wokesy will be the same. Is it a chance for, you know, people like yourself, him, to you know, stand up a little bit more in the bowling group and not on the field? I mean, like in terms of the bowling group off the field, and I don't know, just take a bit more of a senior role as much as possible.
I think so. I think. Well, it's almost forced upon you. Like I've got to really. I'm happy to do it and speak to, you know, speak in group meetings and speak amongst the bowlers, and we'll have quite a good bowlers union and togetherness. So I feel like it's an open space to say what you want, and everybody respects and listens, and only after the best. But without the big two there, you're almost forced into. I'm going to have to be one of the senior bowlers because we've got young Fisher, young Saki who haven't played. So be trying to help them if they play, and Wokesy, I'm sure, will do the same. Ollie Robb started really well, so it's a chance for others to try and like show that, I guess, seniority that you're on about. I mean, you'll have had the same thing at Durham when, you know, you and Bunny were formidable, and you know, before that it was Harmy and stuff, and then you come through, and then you're all of a sudden the senior bowler to the likes of me and other lads coming through. So I suppose it'll be the same as that, really. Just try and, you know, this in the same way that not trying too much or too hard, or not having to say something every ball or try too much. It's just, you know, saying the right things at the right time and making sure that, you know, you're as supportive as can be.
Absolutely. You mentioned the bowlers union. Is that like in the nets, half volleys to me, half volleys to you, mate? That kind of stuff.
always. You know the score. No,
you're an all-rounder now, aren't you?
No, not nosebleed at number 8. I was constantly dabbing my nose at number 8, like. But I reckon we'll hardly ever face each other in the nets, you know. For this trip was the first time I've ever faced Chris Wokes in my career. So he's 32, 33, I'm 32. It was the first time I'd ever faced him. Believe it or not, he did knock me off Polo's first ball. So maybe that's a good reason why I didn't face him very much.
You weren't trying to back away and calm over third man, were you?
Well, if it's in your slot, Rushy, it's in your slot. You know what I mean? You've got to back yourself.
I think we've got a few more questions from sort of Twitter and stuff, haven't we, Johnny?
Oh, aye. Do you know what? There's some right nosy bastards on Twitter, isn't there? We went out, right, for questions. We had about 6 questions going, oh, what's he going to spend his 700 grand on? He's getting from the IPL.
I think the worry isn't what I'm going to spend it on. It's more my lass. I think she'll have her finger on the button as soon as I've pulled that first ball. God knows what could be coming through the door. We've got enough Amazon parcels as it is.
Every time that paddle went up in the auction, she's just thinking, right, one more off the house list.
Mate, the Amazon delivery driver, I think he knows every part of our house by now.
Mine just come. I work from home. Mine just. I see him opening the front door. Keith, they call him. He's here every day.
You want to be worried about that if he's got keys.
Hey.
I've always said Charlie looks not like you.
No.
Mate, you should see when he rocks up, man, and I say, "Oh, what's this now?" I can't remember. That's how often we get him at the door.
Yeah. I ordered it ages ago. Can't remember what that is. Yeah, that old chestnut. Right. So first one. Now this one's come from a lady that follows us on Twitter called Bex, and I just at this stage, her and her husband have organised a charity cricket match for autism and stuff. Just followed the Twitter page and stuff for ages, so I just want to kind of just take this opportunity to wish them kind of the best of luck. Really good what they're doing and stuff. So well done, Bex. Well done, Michael. Her question is: ask him what felt better, winning the Cricket World Cup or headering that footy into the bin during a rain delay during Pakistan's game.
That did feel good, to be honest. It took a few goes that, and I was one of the chief sort of cushioners. So from the balcony at the top, I was the first one to head it as a comeback doing. Honestly, I reckon I'd headed 150 of them. I had mild concussion by the end, man. I was just so happy and relieved to get one in the bin by the end. She's right. That was a pretty good feeling.
Who chose you to be the finisher?
I wasn't even meant to be it, Rushy. I was meant to be the flick on. It was meant to go and Joss back up, and then Popey was meant to get it in. But because he was flicking it back, I sort of just it was the old to try to put it in a Sunderland way, because I know you're a massive Sunderland fan. It was like he was Neil Quinn, I was Kevin Phillips, just with a flick on. I was just going to knock it in at the end.
Instinct there to tap it in.
Exactly.
Johnny, do you want to read the Ferry Hill Mags one? Are we
not as a proud man, I'm not particularly, but I'll let you read it.
We will, because this fella does support Newcastle, but he's obviously a massive Durham fan, and he follows the podcast quite closely, and he's a really nice fella. So I'll let him have it. If he goes for a run out by kicking the ball at the stumps in the upcoming tests, can you ask him to shout Trippier as he shouted Asprilla and Ketsbayer in the past? So can you shout Trippier next time you're going for a run out with your foot?
Well, it's not me. I'm actually not a Newcastle fan, believe it or not. So I'm a Wimbledon fan. But I've because of obviously having the Geordie accent or the Northeast accent, I've started to. I went back to my childhood and I've started shouting 90s footballers that I could think of, and obviously the Toon players being, the ones that are close to here. I've just started shooting them, so I'm not sure Trippier fits into me 90s footballer, so I might have to give him a miss.
Good answer. I'm happy with that.
Good answer. So you're not a Newcastle fan?
No, I'm actually a AFC Wimbledon fan.
Nice.
Now, right, Rush?
Mate, I can vouch for this. He supported Wimbledon for as long as I can remember.
Hang on, there's got to be a story here. What's that about?
The dark times.
So when I was a kid, about 4 or 5 year old, I used to collect the old sticker books, go into the shop with my dad, 20p, get the shinies as much as you could. My favourite colour was blue, so I was like Chelsea, Everton, Leicester, Wimbledon, all these teams to choose from. I thought one of the stickers in the Wimbledon team looked like my dad, so that was the team I picked, and that was the team I supported. So I went to Selhurst Park when they played Tottenham. Klinsmann scored a hat-trick. They lost 6-1 or 6-2, but it was a canny day. That was my first game, and then I followed them all over the northeast. It was nice when they played, Newcastle and stuff, or Sunderland, because it was right on the corner. And being a Wimbledon fan, there wasn't very many of them travelled, so you could sit where you wanted. You had great seats. The only problem is when they were singing the songs, I found it hard to put on the Cockney accent when they were singing the songs. So. And when they started singing "You Dirty Northern Bastards," I thought, actually, I'm quite proud of that myself. So I don't know if I want to join in.
Has the horse been put down?
Unfortunately, I got too much for us. I was every international ground I went to. If you have like 50, 60, 70 people, Woody, where's your horse? Where's your horse? And one day at Headingley, unfortunately, I got the shotgun out and just blasted it. It didn't get doing well with the crowd, but from that day on, I said, look, there's no 90, it's gone now.
So the horse's deed.
Unfortunately.
You could always buy a new one with you. 700.
I cannot, man, not in this storm, it'd blow away.
Is there a meaning behind the number 33 shirt you wear?
That is. So 33 is my mum and dad's house. So they live at number 33. So when I first signed for Durham, I wanted something to remember where I'd come from. So with the Durham badge on the front and my name and where I was from on the back, I thought that, a good indication of where I've come from, can always remember it. And if times get tough on the field, you can, look at the badge on the front and the number on the back and remember, the values and stuff that you carry.
Good stuff. Rushy, you're 22. What's your 22 mean?
He got 2 ducks in a row, and he just was like, right, that's it. I've got to have 22.
His highest score.
I've had more than 2 ducks in a row, I tell you that. My birthday was the 11th. Number 11 was taken, so I just went 22. No, other than that, I don't know. I like the idea of 2 numbers together. Like, I think it looks better.
Are you one of them people, Rushy, that knows everybody's number?
Well,
like across the whole counties and everything?
Or teams I've played against, I reckon I've got most of them in the locker. I know you are.
I know a few. I don't know how many knew, but I knew a few at the time. I wonder if you could, like, everyone we've played with, if I'd like hide a few of you, just get them. Benke?
Benke was 44.
Stokesy?
He was 38 for us in England.
Will Smith?
2.
Oh, it's getting too easy. I'm going to have to go on like old school. What would Lee Goddard?
Goddard was 17.
Oh, I'm out now. That was as hard as it gets.
Rushy, how do you know all this, lad?
Because you spend 6 months of the year with people. It's all you look at. When you're on the academy, all you dream of is getting that number on the back of your shirt. So you figure out who's got what, and then you pick your number. And then just attention to detail, mate.
Fair enough. Right, last one. How confident were you that you were going to get you? How confident was he was going to run that second run on the last ball of the World Cup? Scott Easby's a massive Darren fan as well.
How confident was I?
What, on running it or getting in? I reckon you were always going to run it. Regardless.
I was always running. I had to run because obviously we needed at least one to tie. So I've got to, no matter what, even if Stokesy missed it, I've got to get the other end.
Aye.
I'd actually practiced. So Lords, there's like 2 flights of stairs. So I'd ran down the stairs and I sprinted on the field. So I thought, if I just waltz on and just walk on like usually, I'm not going to be ready, am I? So I thought if I sprint down, I'll be warm, my muscles will be ready to go on. And it wasn't until I got in the field that I realised that obviously I had all my kit on when I actually didn't need all my kit on. And I thought, well, this isn't gonna help. But I was so engrossed in like literally shitting my pants because it was the last battle. I remember as I was walking, I thought, right, I had about 50 things to say to Stokesy. Like, am I gonna be like, right, mate, you're doing really well, keep going? Or am I gonna be, Stokesy, fucking switch on, whack it out the ground, we're gonna win the World Cup?
At any point, Woody, knowing your character, at any point, did you have a joke or something funny in your mind, like to say to Stokesy when you got there, or was it like, or were you completely...
No, I think that something will have ran through my mind, but when I got out the middle and his eyes were glazed over, and I said about 3 things to him and he ignored every one, I thought, right, I'll just stand at the other end and get ready to run here. The other thing that weirdly went through my mind was when Bolt was running in, I thought, didn't get man-catted. I didn't think Bolt would have done it at that time. Like last battle, he's probably never thinking about that.
No.
But in my mind, I was thinking, can you imagine if that happened to me?
You'd have been fucked if it was Ashwin, like.
And I know. So I just thought, back up, run as hard as you can. And although I got literally loads of flack off the Ashton lads, like I'm still in a group chat with Ashton lads and that. They were saying like the Titanic turns quick and all this kind of stuff. Like, actually, I blame Stokesy because he couldn't have hit it any better, the fielder. It doesn't matter. Usain Bolt wouldn't have gotten back for 2 there. And I've getting loads of flack for it, but, oh, you wore all your kit. It didn't matter if I wore it out. I wouldn't have gotten back. So I blame him, really. He's let me cop it for far too long. It's good time he got a bit back. If he just cracked a joke with us when I got out there, everything would have been all right, eh?
You've been relaxed. Where you go?
Right. I reckon that's us, Rushy.
I think happy with that. Sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
No bother. Thanks for having us on. Enjoyed it.
No worries, mate. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, pal. Now we've got a very, very busy few months ahead, so it was good we could grab you and get you on before you're off on your travels again.
We're not getting the plane. We're just going to hold an umbrella up and the wind will take power. So I'll just, the old Mary Poppins style, I'll be over there in a flash with this weather.
Mate, I'm just saying, I feel a little bit sorry for you. I hope you've got some good earplugs.
Why is that?
You're sitting next to Lizzie on that plane on the way to West Indies.
and he's already messaged us 50 times with different stuff. What do I need? Do I need this? Do I need that? What happens with this? What happens with that? You'd be all right, man. Play for England. Just relax.
This is going in the podcast, by the way.
If your club is looking for new kit next season, contact Ambition Sport. Whatever your sport, whatever your standard, whatever your club's size, Ambition Sport can create bespoke, fully sublimated kits to be proud of, as well as your training and leisure wear. Ambition Sport also run online club shops for your members to be able to order their own kit, taking away the hassle of organising orders. And with a 10% discount off your first order using the code LENGTHDOESMATTER, now really is the time to get set up. To find out more, email info@ambitionsport.com or find us on Instagram @ambition_activewear, where you'll find a range of kits already produced for all sports and all standards. Ambition Sport. Get your kit on.